The bottleneck for scaling artificial intelligence hardware is no longer optical. The challenge has shifted to physically excavating three-dimensional silicon structures. Extreme ultraviolet lithography, dominated by ASML, is strictly a two-dimensional patterning mechanism. It projects light to expose a layer of photoresist, creating a flat stencil. Translating that flat stencil into a functional, three-dimensional gate-all-around transistor requires selective material removal. The exposed substrate must be excavated downward with angstrom-level precision. The difficulty lies in removing the underlying substrate without destroying the fragile atomic lattice of the surrounding architecture. One stray chemical reaction can erode a nanometer of silicon, causing massive current leakage and a complete device yield failure. Manufacturing next-generation logic and high-bandwidth memory depends entirely on vacuum-sealed material subtraction, not optical addition. For legacy planar nodes, fabs relied on traditional wet chemical etching. Wafers were submerged in liquid etchants, like heated phosphoric acid, to dissolve target materials. Liquid chemical etchants act like aggressive sponges. They dissolve material equally in all directions, eroding vertical depth and horizontal sidewalls at the exact same rate. This multidirectional dissolution is known as isotropic behavior. Because it causes catastrophic structural undercutting beneath the masking layers, wet etching is mathematically useless for transferring patterns below 1 micrometer. This geometric diagram plots the degree of anisotropy. The formula calculates the difference between vertical depth, z, and horizontal undercut, x. Wet etching results in an A value of 0. Modern architectures require an A value of 1, a perfectly vertical anisotropic profile. To achieve perfectly vertical profiles, fabs transition to dry plasma etching, a highly calibrated synergy of volatile chemical reactions and mechanical force operating within a vacuum. A common misconception is that dry etching relies purely on physical force, like a nanoscale sandblaster. In reality, it is an ion-enhanced chemical reaction. The physical bombardment specifically accelerates a chemical process at the etch site. Achieving perfectly anisotropic, three-dimensional architectures requires controlling the exact ratio of mechanical bombardment to chemical reaction. This balance is achieved inside an ultra-high vacuum chamber filled with a specific feed gas, typically a fluorocarbon. Introducing electromagnetic power triggers a violent ignition of the fluorocarbon feed gas. This glow discharge separates the neutral molecules into a highly volatile plasma mixture. In a capacitively coupled plasma reactor, radiofrequency power runs between two electrodes. This generates the electromagnetic fields required to sustain the plasma and direct its components toward the silicon wafer. The plasma contains two distinct agents. First are the neutral radicals. These are the chemical actors. They diffuse to the surface of the wafer and react with the silicon to form volatile byproducts that can be pumped out of the chamber. Second are the positive ions. These are the kinetic actors. The plasma sheath accelerates these ions in a strictly vertical direction, delivering the physical energy required to break the crystal bonds at the bottom of the trench. As radicals interact with the surface, they create protective byproducts. This image shows thick, conformal Teflon-like polymer residues outlining structural profiles. These polymers adhere to vertical sidewalls, inhibiting horizontal etching, while accelerated ions clear the bottom. Reactor engineering relies entirely on tuning electromagnetic frequencies to perfectly balance the chemical radical flux with the kinetic ion energy. As transistor architectures shrink below 5 nanometers, conventional reactive ion etching becomes too blunt. Continuous energetic ion bombardment irreparably shatters delicate silicon lattices and distorts feature profiles. This diagram illustrates atomic layer etching, or ALE. It is a cyclic, self-limiting process that avoids continuous bombardment by removing material exactly one atomic monolayer at a time. Step 1 is adsorption. An etching gas is injected into the vacuum. It chemically reacts with the substrate to weaken the binding energy of only the topmost atomic monolayer, leaving the bulk material beneath entirely unaffected. Step 2 is the first purge. The vacuum strictly evacuates all remaining unreacted gas. This prevents uncontrollable continuous chemical reactions. Step 3 is removal. A plasma is ignited, directing low-energy inert ions at the surface. These ions possess exactly enough kinetic energy to strip away the weakened monolayer, but not enough to damage the pristine lattice beneath it. Step 4 is the second purge. The volatile byproducts and the plasma gas are evacuated from the chamber, resetting the environment before the cycle repeats. By decoupling the chemical modification step from the physical removal step, ALE grants engineers absolute deterministic control over atomic geometries. While ALE solves the challenge of extreme miniaturization, vertical scaling presents a completely different physics constraint. Advanced 3D NAND memory requires drilling a perfectly vertical 10-micron deep channel through 400 alternating dielectric layers. This chart visualizes aspect ratio dependent etching. As an etched channel becomes deeper and narrower, the concentration of active ions reaching the bottom rapidly depletes. Once aspect ratios pass 50:1, the etch rate plunges exponentially. Operating at ambient temperatures introduces a secondary thermal failure. Residual chemical radicals diffuse laterally as they travel down the deep trench, causing spontaneous horizontal etching that bows out the sidewalls. The solution to this vertical scaling limit is thermodynamic. Equipment suppliers, led by LAM Research's Cryo 3.0 technology, introduced cryogenic etching. Fabs utilize advanced sub-fab chillers and helium-back cooling on the electrostatic chuck to drop the temperature of the silicon wafer well below 0 degrees Celsius. These ultra-low temperatures freeze out spontaneous lateral chemical reactions. The radicals are physically immobilized, forcing the etching process to behave strictly according to the vertical ion bombardment. Advanced memory scaling is now a thermodynamic challenge. Extreme temperature control allows manufacturers to drill a 10-micron drop with less than 0.1% dimensional deviation. Building a vertical memory stack or a gate-all-around transistor requires a continuous loop of physics. The fab must seamlessly alternate between etching a cavity and then depositing new dielectric or metallization layers into that exact space. Moving a partially finished wafer across a cleanroom floor between discrete machines exposes it to the atmosphere. Oxygen instantly contaminates the 10-nanometer spaces between stacked silicon nanosheets, ruining the batch. To circumvent atmospheric contamination, companies like Applied Materials developed the Integrated Material Solutions strategy. This schematic shows a cluster tool mainframe where central robotic arms move wafers between sealed satellite chambers. High vacuum deposition, etching, and metrology are combined onto a single physical platform. The active nanosheets are processed and protected without ever breaking the vacuum seal. The physics of vacuum maintenance strictly dictate corporate product strategies. Semiconductor fabs are financially incentivized to purchase highly consolidated, multi-million-dollar modular mainframes rather than mixing and matching individual tools from different vendors. The extreme engineering required to manipulate plasma thermodynamics within a perfect vacuum has centralized global manufacturing power into a highly consolidated duopoly. LAM Research dominates the global dry etching market, capturing roughly half of total market share. Their proprietary high aspect ratio and cryogenic technologies hold a near monopoly on the deepest, most complex vertical architectures. Foundries like TSMC and memory makers like SK Hynix co-developed their proprietary manufacturing nodes directly on these machines over several years. They integrate the specific plasma signatures of these systems into their architectural roadmaps. Substituting a LAM Vantex or an Applied Materials SIM3 system for a competitor's tool would force a costly, multi-year factory recalibration. The structural integrity of their chips relies on the precise process parameters of the incumbent equipment. The capital barrier to entry reinforces this moat. LAM Research spends over $2 billion annually on research and development simply to maintain their angstrom-level precision. The software capabilities of artificial intelligence scale exponentially, but that software is entirely tethered to physical hardware that only exists because two equipment manufacturers mastered the physics of carving silicon in a vacuum.